The old school marketplace is absolutely crazy right now, with so many updates this year affecting the price of so many valuable items within the game. Thus, could we be about to get rid of bots forever? Here's what's happening whilst I try to make sense of it all. The combat rebalance is making major waves in the economy, and it's not just things like the scythe that was specifically mentioned within the update and has tripled in price this year alone. This is the overall price for raid items in general, showing that practically every single combat item is going up in price, as players invest in things that they hope the update will have a positive effect on. But this is a rebalance, and for every item that benefits from it, there's going to be one that it negatively affects. The next update that they release will be crucial with all the information in it, so keep an eye out for that one, as every single player will gain or lose money because of this. If you follow the market, you'll also have noticed that Third Age has been going up a lot in price this year. Whilst we've all been trying to figure out what's the real reason for it, is it price manipulation by a bunch of rich players, or is it people choosing to invest in Third Age because of how rare it is? Since the price of gold has crashed from $0.31 per million to $0.14 in the last year, it's effectively better to have your money in any item rather than gold. Well, Third Age has just had a major crash. The cloak is down 150 million, the bow is down 300 million, one 200, and there's a similar story for most across the whole of Third Age, apart from a few things that were already above max cash, like the axe. If it was price manipulation all along, then Third Age could keep falling in price, but it could also be something as simple as players selling up to invest in the combat rebalance. Will definitely be interesting to have a look at that in the next video though in a few weeks to see where that one goes. With Valamore scheduled to be released early this year, there's also been some changes to the prices of defensive gear. The new dungeon, Perilous Moons, aims to make defense more important within the game, with mechanics such as the more damage you take, that will also reduce the amount of damage that you do too. Plus, defense itself is also being reworked to make it more important just overall as part of the combat rebalance, and we're just starting to see the impact of that one too. We're seeing items like the Odium and Malediction wards go up in price as players look for defensive items that are somewhat cheap for the level. Even some of the highest priced defensive items like the Elysian Spirit Shield are showing signs of investment. After it had a major crash when Desert Treasure 2 came out, it's since gone up 200 million, and most of that in the last month or two. Unsurprisingly, defensive items with the highest bonuses are also benefiting from this, and the Bulwark has doubled in price since August, up to 22 million GP. The Brimstone Ring has had a ridiculous price increase, almost doubling since November. Could a ring with +4 and +6 defensive stats really become so much better after this update? It's hard to imagine it will, but people are buying it anyway, and as I said, the price has almost doubled. All these price rises, and this is all before the biggest update of the year, and possibly the biggest old school RuneScape update ever, sailing. As soon as this one passed the poll, people went absolutely nuts, buying out things that they thought they'd be used in sailing, such as black nails, going from 1000 GP to 6000 GP in just a month, before falling back down to 3000 GP. Tons of things that could be linked to sailing, you guessed it, have gone up in price, and nothing is off limits. Hammers, swamp paste, rope, and it'll be interesting to see if Jagex will make it so that we use a lot of logs in sailing as part of buying, creating, or however we get the boats. Because forestry was meant to be an item sink for logs, and a lot of the items created with it have now been taken out of the game, and that item sink is gone. The only things not really going up are things that you can easily make, like planks themselves, plus a lot of the other nails that can be made from bars, and all these price rises are happening even though I suspect sailing is still quite a while off being released. Bonds have also hit a brand new high, and not only have they gone over 10 million now consistently, the current price they're trading at is 12 million GP. Hardly surprising really, given all the GP that's being brought into the game right now, which is essentially what's causing the massive crash in gold prices that I mentioned earlier. Although that could all be about to change, because every new account now needs to be created using a Jagex account, and it has a number of benefits that could have a huge impact on bots, selling accounts, and the economy. Once an account has been linked to a Jagex account, it can never ever be removed. The only way to sell that individual account would be then to sell your entire Jagex account, including every other account linked to it. It should also make bot detection much easier, because the game has to be launched through Jagex's own client or RuneLite. It also gives Jagex the option to chain ban all of the accounts if there's someone real world trading or botting on one of them. And whilst there'll always be bots in the game, it has the potential to severely lower the number of them by just banning them much faster. If that happens, the trend of almost all items going up in price over time will stop, and hopefully it will, because the old school RuneScape economy is currently collapsing due to too much GP being created, and this is what happens to a game with no economy. 6 months ago, Jagex decided to merge Deadman World 345 with Deadman Apocalypse after it finished. That brought into Deadman World 345 items from 100,000 players that had boosted damage, boosted gathering speeds, and boosted drop rates into a game that used to have just 50 to 150 players online at any time. Yesterday evening, this is how many people were playing a game with absolutely no economy anymore on World 345, and this is this morning.